It's awesome idea.
You have 6 minutes. 6 minutes. All right, good morning. So as Tim said, my name is Cody Sweet, and my business is fightfunnels.com, and we create lead-generating martial arts websites without the monthly fees. Primarily, we work with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, boxing gyms, stuff like that. All right, so how did I come up with this idea? So in a galaxy far, far away, I was living in Bangkok, Thailand for the better part of 5 years. And while I was there, I was managing Bangkok Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and also Bangkok Fight Lab, 2 MMA gyms. And my coach at the time, here's a Bangkok Fight Lab. My coach at the time, he was a web designer, but also a Jiu-Jitsu and MMA coach, and he's from the Bay. And then I do internet marketing, so we decided to team up and create lead-generating websites for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academies, just kind of like a side business, a side hustle to make some extra money. And then it kind of just started out just as us 2 friends just kind of making websites on the side. He decided to get a real job and move back to the Bay to work at Credit Karma, and I stayed in Thailand. And then I kept doing websites under a different business name until recently I created Fight Funnels. And the problem that we help solve is that a lot of gym owners have far too many recurring fees every single month, right? So Rainmaker, that's like their CRM. They have ClickFunnels for landing pages for lead generation. Zapier to kind of tie everything together. Facebook ads, I also run Facebook ad campaigns, and I charge about $800 to $1,000 a month. Google AdWords, all of these recurring expenses add up to a lot of money, thousands of dollars every single month. And the website is one of the biggest ones of those, because most companies in the MMA industry that create lead-generating websites charge a monthly fee, right? And then they charge between $200 and $500 a month for the website. You don't own the website, so if you cancel, your website's gone. And then also the gyms can't really go in and make changes or edits, right? If they need to update something, they don't have that access to do it. So how do we solve that? The solution, obviously, fightfunnels.com. So we create high-quality lead-generating websites that do everything that our competitor sites do and more, but we don't have any monthly fees. Also, the gyms, they own the website, right? So once they buy a website from us, we put it onto their hosting, or we also offer a hosting package if they'd rather us maintain it and update it. But a lot of our clients are more web savvy, and so they kind of know how to use WordPress and stuff. So they actually want to host the site themselves, be able to make changes themselves, but more importantly, not pay $200, $300, $400, $500 a month every single month, and they want to be able to own the website, right? Also, we have a front-end visual editor, which helps them make changes very easily. And then for my business model, so since we don't do the monthly fees, we do a high-ticket price up front. So we charge between $2,000 to $3,000 for the website, right? And so that's good for us because we get a nice chunk of change. My developers work pretty inexpensively. But then we also have some recurring back-end offers. So we'll manage Facebook ad campaigns for them, YouTube ads, which are kind of the new like up-and-coming thing, SEO to help them rank higher in Google. I do a lot of sales and marketing coaching for my gyms, for my clients, primarily in the how to follow up with leads, and then how to close the leads, how to structure the trial, whether to use paid trials, free trials, and the whole sales process. And then also, like I mentioned, we will, for an extra fee, host their site, back up their site, keep everything updated, and everything that if they don't want to do it themselves. But they can do it themselves, and then there's no monthly fees other than, their $9 monthly hosting fee. Current state. So currently I'm ironing out the design process. I'm getting the site to look exactly how I want and generate leads how they want. They've been doing really well. A recent client actually, he was getting about 20 to 30 leads on his old website. We redesigned it, put on our 2-step lead capture, and he got 100 leads in the first month, which is not typical, but it's a really good marketing angle for me. I got a really good testimonial out of it. And then I'm also hiring an additional designer and developer. My current designer is really good design, not so good on the technical aspects of like hosting and migration and stuff like that. So I've just hired a Serbian developer who's really, really good. And that's the next step, kind of getting the design process ironed out, making it easy for the client to give us all of the information. We use a program called Content Snare, so they can upload all the information, all the photos, everything they need, so we have it in one place so there's not 100 emails back and forth, right? And then as far as what's next is joint ventures and to target franchise locations. The reason for that is because if I pick up a franchise location, even if it's not corporate, even if they're individually owned, it's much easier to get other franchise locations to go with our service once we have 1 or 2 of his friends who also own the same franchise. Currently I run campaigns for USSD, which is a karate franchise. They have about 75 locations, and I've done ad campaigns for 5 of their locations. So it's much easier to get in, and it can kind of snowball effect, right? Then also joint ventures. In any kind of gym marketing, fitness marketing, mixed martial arts, the same. There's lots of marketing companies, gurus out there, coaches and stuff who have lots of clients, large Facebook groups, large followings. But the large majority of them don't offer any kind of web design service. And so that's an easy upsell for them to sell lead generating websites to their current customers and clients. And then, they just take a cut, and I give them an affiliate fee, and then I get a lot of easy clients that way. And then for the ask for the community, I don't really have much of an ask yet, other than if anybody happens to know the owner of a mixed martial arts, or even CrossFit franchise location, an introduction would be great, because like I said, I am trying to get into working with franchises. And then that's it. Any questions?
Yay! That was right on the money, 6 minutes.
Perfect. Yes?
I do. I'm curious, are you making completely custom websites for these clients? Are you kind of using a template and replicating it?
So we're using WordPress. It's a template, but it's a custom template, like a theme that we've created ourselves, and then we modify each one for each client. So, but most gyms basically have the same exact needs, and so we kind of just change their content, logo, color schemes, but then everybody has a little bit of a customization that they want. Yes.
I love that they get to own their own websites. That's like the biggest struggle that I see with clients when they're like, "What do you mean we own it?" And like, "What do you mean you don't?"
Yeah. Well, a lot of gyms will pay like $10,000 over the course of like 3 years for their website, and then they decide, I'm sick of paying the monthly fees. They go, okay, cool, we want to cancel. And then the company says, sure, but we're taking your website away from you. So.
Say bye to your SEO and all this stuff. Yeah. Okay. Smart.
Oh, are you just doing Northern California, or?
No, actually, I don't have any. Well, I have one client in San Mateo, but like all my clients are all over the place. I have clients in Australia and anywhere in the world.
Obviously, Front Sight has a martial arts segment to their thing. I don't know if they wanted to do this, but anyway,
okay.
They got like 50,000 people going through there every year.
Oh, all right. I've never heard of the Front Sight yet. All right.
It sounds like each client might be a little, like a little bit of a time commitment. So you said you wanted a lot of clients. Like, what's the maximum number of clients you think you can handle while still giving like specific care to each client?
So it just depends on the amount of developers that I hire and how ironed out our design process is, right? How the flow is, and that's really the problem I'm working on now. Is where I'm working with content scenario where they can upload all of their information, and so I have it in one location. Because the biggest problem is the back and forth emails, right? And say, we need this photo, and they say, I emailed it to you, 27 days ago, right? But if it's in content scenario, it's right there. So as of right now, I think I can handle 2 to 3, maybe 4 clients at a time, which is actually like pretty good for me. But I would like to scale that up with more developers. In the back.
Yeah. Are you just going to continue working with the gyms, or do you have plans to diversify into other markets?
I don't really have plans to diversify into other markets. In the martial arts niche, there's, I don't even know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of gyms. So I'll stay in that mixed martial arts world because I have a name in that world. I've worked in it for quite a few years. I have like a fairly decent sized email list and people know me. We do work with, like, I did a website for a strength and conditioning gym in Phoenix. So we'll branch out a little bit, but I plan to stay in the MMA world because that's what I know, that's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the typical turnaround time from when you contact a customer to having them up and running and they're flowing with their leads?
From the time they decide, hey, I'm ready to go and they make a purchase, it takes about 3 weeks, but that's actually way too long. And the reason for that is because my current developer is really good at design. He's a little slow. He's the artist type, so the sites look great. But so with the new developer, I want to get that down to, once we have all of their information, I'll be able to bang it out in like a week, right? Which shouldn't be an issue because the more we get our design process ironed out, the easier it is. Wendy?
What do you think is your, like the skills that you're lacking, or like what you're good at, what you're not good at, and moving forward, if you want to create additions to your team, what skills would you want to bring on?
Yeah, so the skills that I lack is any kind of web design skills whatsoever, right? Which is good and bad. It's good because then I just outsource everything, right? Which makes it a lot easier. However, the main issue I run into is that I'm US-based. Most of the developers I've worked with are foreign-based. I usually hire Eastern European who do really, really good work. But then if there is any kind of an issue, it's typically a 24-hour turnaround time. So if a client calls me in the morning and says, hey, my site's not working or whatever, it takes a while for the developer in the Ukraine to wake up and finish that. So I tried to circumvent that by hiring a US developer, but he's even slower. So I'm back to working with Eastern Europeans. They typically do a great job. But web design is not really a skill that I want to take on myself. So really the skill I need to take on is how to hire and train a very accountable and good team to where I don't have to deal with that at all, because ideally, you know, I should be working on the business, not in the business, right? Like, I'm not a programmer. It takes me 10 hours to do something that takes them 10 minutes. So,
Yes.
so my skills, I need to get very much better at hiring talent and then making sure all the systems or processes are in place for them just to do everything that they need to do and not have me intervene.
Do you, it seems like having, you know, designers on your team is a great option for like offering branding. I think a lot of the MMAs that or, you know, karate place or whatever that I've known or been a part of in the past, always usually struggled in like having a dope logo or whatever. And
Yeah.
It seems like you could really offer something great for them and just getting them redesigned, you know, branding and things like that. Do you do that or?
Yeah, we'll do everything. You know, if they need a logo, we'll do logo design and everything like that. The traditional karate school and stuff, yeah, they struggle like pretty bad with that. You know, I mean, the age of the traditional karate school owner is probably like, I don't know, like 60 years old or something.
Sure.
But we work primarily with mixed martial arts and like boxing and jiu-jitsu gyms, where the people are much younger. So usually that's not as big of an issue. But then we do logo design or whatever they need. You know, I mean, it's so easy to get that stuff done now, and it is, you know, just an upsell for us, just more money. Yeah.
How much would you charge and how much would you make? And like, would it be like a annual or like a monthly thing for each client that they pay you a fee? And
No, so that's our kind of like our main competitive advantage. There's no monthly fees for us. Like for our website, they pay up front and then they own the site outright. We charge between $2,000 and $3,000 for the website. It just depends on what exactly they need.
got it.
In the back?
Yeah, what kind of bookkeeping system are you planning to use?
So right now we use Wave, and actually I just started using that. A couple of the other guys at Chico started using, so I've started using that.
Okay.
Will?
I didn't, just from when we've talked before, I didn't know that you were doing YouTube ads.
Started to do YouTube ads, yeah.
So far, have you had very good, or produced very many leads, or?
So I'm just setting up the first YouTube campaign, and it's actually tied in with Google AdWords. It's like the same platform. I've heard really good things about YouTube ads for gyms. Like I follow like all the top like fitness marketers and stuff. I'm in a lot of mastermind groups, and they've had really good success. More expensive than Facebook ads, but typically a little bit higher quality lead than Facebook ads.
So kind of to piggyback on that question, when you were starting out, how did you go about deciding how much you were going to charge, how much money you wanted to make personally? There's a lot of people that are starting graphic design businesses or social media marketing businesses, and it's a really hard to approach that.
So I decided to charge as much as I thought I could get away with. I'm like I said, I've managed 2 different gyms. I've trained in dozens of mixed martial arts gyms, so I kind of know about their finances, which are typically not very good. And so I figure, like, I see like some like CrossFit companies charging like closer to $4,000 or $5,000 for a website. Yeah. The majority of mixed martial arts jiu-jitsu academies won't be able to afford that. You know, they just the business practices aren't there. They don't have that kind of cash flow yet, right? Like that. The level of business and marketing and sales in mixed martial arts is a step below fitness. So CrossFit is 1 or 2 steps ahead. They have more money. Okay. So yeah, I kind of decided what I thought I could charge. You know, kind of more of an ideal client, and I just kind of picked, you know, $2,000 to $3,000, and people were paying it. So I thought, you know, cool. At the time, my first developer, I was paying $170 a website. So I had pretty good profit margins.
I think you should raise your prices if people aren't questioning the cost of it and just the value that you're bringing to it. Just being in this industry, it sounds like you could be charging more.
So I started at $1,500 and I bumped up to $2,000, and now I'm bumping up to a minimum of $2,500. Okay. So I'm kind of I'm finding that ceiling, right? And I think it's going to be roughly around $2,500 to $3,000. But hopefully I'm wrong.
I think you could charge more for what you're bringing to the table.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, personally,
I'm thinking 5.
I don't think 5,000 is where I'm.
If I can, I would rather do that. 'Cause even if I get half as many clients, I'd rather have 10 $5,000 clients than 20.
Yes,
$2,500.
How are you finding your clients right now?
So I haven't even hardly officially launched Fight Funnels. Like I used to make websites under the name BJJ Website Gurus, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Website Gurus. And I have an email list of about 500 gym owners. And so I sent out 1 email, and I got 4 or 5 clients off of that first email that kind of trickled in. And then I also I do Facebook ad campaigns, so like I just get tons of referrals, right? But really, the main thing I'm going to do, like I said, besides like targeting franchise locations, is I have scraped an email list of my competitors' clients, right? So all the people who are paying, $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, I have an email list of like a couple thousand of these gym locations, which I've set up a cold email sequence for, which I've done in other businesses and works really well. And it's kind of like a 3-day cold email sequence. And then my website is also pixeled with Facebook. So those emails who, maybe they open my email and go to my site, don't email me back, well now I can retarget to them in Facebook as well. And then Facebook ads also with just lead gen Facebook ads.
What about conferences? Have you done that at
There
all?
are big martial arts conferences. I don't know how much interest I have in actually going to them. And how much, once you pay for a booth and, get your display and your signage and all that stuff, hire staff, fly their hotels. I don't know that it's really worth my time and effort, or even if I really want to do it, when I can just get all of my clients online. So I don't know if I'll do conferences or not.
So what is your exit strategy? What's your end game? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And how does Chico play into that, if at all?
So how does Chico play into that? I'm not sure. Like I said, I've lived in Thailand. I was there the better part of 5 years. I lived in the Philippines for a few months. I lived in Spain for a few months. And then I kind of just got tired of living abroad, and I graduated from Chico State 6 years ago, so I decided to come back here. And so I don't know if I'll stay in Chico or if I'll go somewhere else. But my end game for the business, I haven't really thought about it. Right? Like right now, it's just a way for me to make money. And honestly, like my end game isn't, I don't think, an internet business. I want to own my own gym. And so I think this is just a vehicle for me to own my own gym. Because like I like working online and the flexibility to move around, but then I've done it for a long time, and I kind of would like to have my own gym where I'm in charge of everything. And it's very frustrating working with other clients, and I'm like, you need to be doing this. Like, why aren't you doing this, right? But like, if I own my own gym, well, then I can do it. So.
Well, have you met, what's that guy, Azad? He's really involved in the community.
Here in town?
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I know he seems like he has a fairly successful academy here, and it seems like he does things pretty well compared to most
Usually a good
karate
person to
martial
talk
arts
to, though.
academies. Actually, he's on my cold email list that I'm about to send the sequence to because he's one of my competitors' clients. I've seen it. And so he's going to get emails from me.
I was almost thinking Orange Theory might be Val, who's one of the coaches. I know one of the guys at Orange Theory is in her Rotary group, so she might be a good person to connect
Orange
with.
Theory, I think, is the largest. It's either the largest or the fastest growing fitness franchise in, I don't know if it's in the world, but the United States, which probably makes it in the world. But I'm not sure if they each have individual location websites or if everything with Orange Theory is probably handled through corporate, I would think.
Hey, aim big. But you're probably right.
Awesome.
President.
Last
Funny
question.
that you said that you want to open up your own gym. My brother wants to do the same exact thing. He's in Vegas right now.
Vegas has a ton of MMA gyms. Like, it's really popular there. That's a good place to own a gym if you can make it.
Yeah. Where do you want to own your gym?
I don't know. Wherever I decide I want to live, which is a daily struggle for me.
Bangkok?
No, not. I think I did my time in Thailand. I was going to go to Medellin, Colombia, and then I ended up meeting my girlfriend and ended up getting stuck here. So we'll see.
All right, last question. 20 minutes goes by fast.
Yay, Cody.
All right, well, thank you.
Yay, Cody.
All right, we want to say thank you for Cody and his time. Everyone in the community shows up and spends some time with us. It's very much appreciated. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Idea Fat Labs, for the facility and the space and the awesomeness. BCACTV for their time and resources. And 6 Degrees Coffee. It's awesome every week to see you guys here and supplying us. So if you have not checked in on Facebook, we'd appreciate you
Twitter.
liking Twitter. Also, there's a 1 Million Cups Chico on the website. You can go and take a look at who's presenting next. And if you know anyone that has an idea or a business that would like to share with the community, please send them to us and we'll get them into the pipeline. And they too can be here and on the internet as well.
And we know who's presenting next?
And presenting next week is going to be Justin.
Totems to go.
Totems to go.
So if you're a festival goer, come.
Festival all kinds of music stuff. You're going to just have to come and see. It's going to be awesome. So show up next week. We appreciate your time, and everyone have a wonderful week. Thank you very much.